one final shape to talk about here. In this case, and we're going to use the same strategy because we want to find all of the different shapes, and it might help you to figure out what the net of this shape would look like. In this case, and I'll draw it out for you, the net of this shape, notice that the sides here, the side faces are going to be rectangles. So we're going to have 3 rectangles that are all the same shape, even though my drawing is not all the same shape. And then on the side of one of the rectangles, we're going to have triangular faces. Okay, so if I translated these dimensions onto my net, what I would get is 10 yards here by 5 yards. How did I know that was 5 yards? Because this side is 5 yards right here. So 5 yards. And then the base of my triangle here is going to be 6 yards. And the height of my triangle, as it says here, is going to be 4 yards. So this is a little bit trickier, and that's why I suggest that you draw out your net for when you're finding surface area. It can be really helpful for you to see how all of these shapes fit together. Because guess what? We have 3 different size shapes here. We have one shape and this shape down here that I'm marking with, I'll mark with an A. Let's call these shape A, that are going to be rectangles that are 5 yards by 10 yards. Then I have another shape here in the middle. I'm going to call it shape B. That's going to be 6 yards by 10 yards. Because the base of this triangle is 6 yards. So the base of this shape, even though it's still a rectangle, it's going to be different than the sides, the faces of this prism. Tricky, right? And then finally we have our, I'm going to call them shape C. We have our 2 triangles. So let's take a look at shape A first. So let's find the surface area of shape A. Shape A is just a rectangle. So 10 times 5, 50 square yards. And don't forget that we have 2 of them. We have 2 shape A's. So 50 times 2 gives us 100 square yards for both of our shape A's. All right, so then let's talk about shape B. And shape B is 6 times 10, or 10 times 6. And that gives us 60 square yards. There's only one of those shapes. And now let's talk about shape C. Shape C is a triangle, so we have to say 1/2 times 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. Even when I'm tired, I can do this one, which gives us 12 square yards. And don't forget that we have 2 shape C's, so 12 times 2 gives us 24 square yards. Now we have to add up our 100. I'll go back to blue here for my final answer. 100 square yards plus 60. Whoops, my board went to erase. Plus 24. So our final answer is 100 plus 60 plus 24, which gives us a total of 184 square yards for this triangular prism. So again, make sure that you potentially draw out your net for these shapes. It will help you figure out the dimensions of each different shape in the figure and how to calculate the area for that, and then add them all together.